Hi everyone, my name is Jeremy Ovadia and I will be discussing our paper Receiver Differential Code Bias Sensitivity to Mapping Functions. Ionospheric modeling generally takes place in the vertical domain along paths normal to the Earth's surface. However, GNSS observables are captured in the slant domain along lines of sight from receiver to satellite. Mapping functions translate these observables from the slant domain to the vertical domain for the sake of modeling. An important aspect of ionospheric modeling is the estimation of differential code biases for satellites and receivers. These biases, quantifying hardware delays, are generally relatively stable over long periods of time, but can vary due to factors such as receiver temperature. Correlations between differential code biases quantified by global ionospheric maps, also known as GIMs, have been previously observed. In our study, we computed receiver differential code biases over a 4.5-year period using different mapping functions shown on the left side of subfigures here. And we noticed differential levels of variation and correlations to ionospheric activity based on the mapping function selected. Notably, some mapping functions yielded significantly less bias variation and lower correlations than bias estimates from the GIMs. The JPL extended slab mapping function, which is either used or effectively used by the GIMs, carried some of the highest bias variations computed by root mean squared deviation shown on the top, and highest correlations to ionospheric activity shown on the bottom that we observed. Other mapping functions, such as the 450 kilometer thin shell, produce biases with significantly lower variations and very little correlation to ionospheric activity. As a result, the higher variations and correlations from GIMs are suggestive of larger modeling errors. Much more is included in our paper. A newly developed ionospheric modeling framework is described and validated. Multi-factor modeling is used to decompose bias estimate variation by local temperature and ionospheric activity. Also, some analytical approximations are derived and compared with estimates from our models. Please check out our paper and thanks for listening.